You logged into your favorite chatbot, typed your prompt, and the result came. But it was largely disappointing. A common scenario, right? Let me show you a method that, once you follow it, you'll start receiving awesome outputs from your chatbot conversations. Stick around to see how. The method is made up of 6 elements that formulate a single mega prompt. To showcase it, I'll be using ChatGPT as this is the most common chatbot people use. But do not worry, it works fine with any other chatbot. It outlines 6 key elements to include in a mega prompt. 1. Clearly defined tasks using action verbs. 2. Specifying the role for the chatbot. 3. Identifying the audience and relevant information about them. 4. Applying a specific educational or learning framework. 5. Choosing a particular voice and style for the response. And 6. Guiding what the response should or should not include. The method aims to enhance the quality of chatbot responses, particularly for teaching and instructional design purposes. The video also touches on the importance of understanding the audience, selecting the appropriate approach based on the topic, and offers additional resources for prompt engineering. Welcome to this instructional video on how to create effective prompts for science-related chatbots such as ChatGPT. Well, obviously, what all prompts need to contain is the task for the chatbot. Essentially, the task is what you want the chatbot to help you with. So, you must clearly define the job you want it to perform using action verbs. Let's work with an example. When crafting your prompt, start with a clear task definition using action verbs like explain the process of photosynthesis. This is our prompt that contains the task. It starts with an action verb, so it must be right, yes? Well, no. As you see, ChatGPT's response is quite generalized, akin to information one might find in an encyclopedia. This is where most people press the enter button and expect a solid response. But this isn't enough. Next comes the role you want the chatbot to assume. This is essential as, like humans, chatbots perform better if you give them some context. So, you must instruct it to assume a particular role. Think of it as having an expert sitting beside you, ready to assist whenever needed. Let's expand on the previous example. Adding the role made ChatGPT alter its response, eventually becoming more understandable. Specify the role of the chatbot. In this case, it's as a science tutor. If I hadn't added the collaborative learning part, the chatbot would probably have steered its response in a different direction. Now, I define that its responses should consider that I want some kind of collaboration between students. This element is the cornerstone of each prompt. The chatbot's response will be mediocre at best, without specifying the audience that will benefit from the generated output. So, you must let the chatbot know who's your audience, as well as some fundamental information about it. Fundamental information can be the people's age, their language level, what skills they lack, or the subject they are taught. Let's build up our example. Identify your audience. Our example targets primary school students learning energy topics. Adding this element forced ChatGPT to acknowledge that my target audience is grade 3 to 6 learners. This way I made it consider specific teaching methodologies, such as incorporating children's learning strategies to please my audience's learning preferences. This element is applicable only for teaching-related tasks. The learning framework or educational approach, if you like, is something instructional designers highlight. Therefore, make sure that you ask the chatbot to apply a specific learning framework to the provided answer. But let's stick to our example. Apply an educational framework relevant to your field. We'll use the 5E instructional model to explore photosynthesis. In any case, selecting the proper approach should be based on your audience and topic. Okay, let's now move on to the fifth element. Asking the chatbot to use a particular voice and style can significantly influence how the generated responses sound. Whether it's a professional, authoritative voice or a friendly, conversational one, each option conveys a distinct impression. Just think how differently you express yourself when you are emotional compared to how you sound when you are calm and relaxed. Anyway, let's expand the previous prompt even more. Choose an appropriate voice and style. For science topics, we recommend a clear, informative style suitable for a primary 5 student to understand. This time, I instructed ChatGPT that its output should be provided in a way that a primary 5 student can understand it. Simplicity is always nice, no matter the age of your audience. Note that there are various styles you can ask the chatbot to assume. Lastly, guide the content of the response. The last element is telling the chatbot what the ideal response should or should not be. To achieve that, I'll tell it what to include and what to avoid when generating its response. For instance, include diagrams of the cell structure, but avoid complex topics like advanced genetics. These steps ensure your chatbot effectively communicates complex scientific concepts, making learning interactive and engaging. In your example, you can also tell the chatbot exactly what to avoid: jargon and acronyms. Do you have to use all the 6 elements? Well, yes and no. Based on what you want the chatbot to generate, there are times that you may need only a couple of these elements, whereas there are certain situations where you need to include all 6 of them within the prompt to receive better results. Identifying what to include in a given situation requires practice, as it is essentially a matter of experience. Defining the task is a must-have element, providing fundamental details about the audience, the role you want the chatbot to assume, and the desired education approach are good-to-have elements. In contrast, setting the voice and style and providing an example are nice-to-have elements but less critical ones. Well, I asked this exact question to ChatGPT. So it responded that although it understands and generates responses based on the context provided in the entire prompt, it is better to place the most critical element earlier in the prompt. This way you ensure the LLM or large language models fully understands the context and requirements. This method is here to help you craft your own customized and effective prompts. But I get it, prompt engineering can be challenging, so it is good to try it out and practice at giving the prompt to see the results you get and refine your prompts. We have come to the end of this tutorial. Hope it has been helpful for those of you who are just trying out ChatGPT for the first time. Till the next time, thank you.